Yeah, when I was a kid, my mother said I used to stand in the window and go all day, all night, all day, all night, which means I understand what it is. It means that all of this stuff, all day and all night, the same shit over and over. This is what I know. That means my soul has been old. I've had an old soul. The thoughts that I had as a kid are the same thoughts I had when I was in my 20s, when I turned a teenager, and even in my 30s. I had those same thoughts as a kid. That was in my head. How we gonna pay bills? How we gonna do this? How we gonna do that? It was never like a kid. So I tried to be like the kids because I felt like an outcast. Now I'd be around other kids and I'd be just doing fine. And then all of a sudden I look up and I go, I don't want to be around these kids no more. Let me go off and do my own thing. Because something about kids, I wanted to stay away from them. But I was a kid. So that means that I had an old soul. Soul probably older than my mother's soul. So what I'm saying is I've been here before. So when it comes down to people say, well, why you ain't get your own business? Because it's a systematic thing. I got to go through the system to have it. I can't do what I want to do. Why I never could get to the Jesus thing. I never could hook up to the Jesus thing as constructed and how it's understood. I never could get to the Bible thing as constructed and how it's understood. Didn't say I didn't get it the way, but it's in a different way that everybody else understands it. So I could never get to those things, even when I tried to read. When I found those encyclopedias as a kid and I cleaned them off as I found them in the garbage, I loved to read those, right? But when it came to school and they would say, here, read these books, I didn't want to do that. So it's always been a person that wanted to do it my way, my style, how I want to do things. Okay? It's always been that way. So I've always been an anti-system. Always been that way. But you can't live in this world unless you be a part of it some kind of way. And a part of it all some kind of way. And anytime I've ever subjected myself to the system, it's because I needed money to survive. But I've never been a systematic person, a person that trains well to be like a monkey. And and I always been successful being that way. But again, you always have entities that's against you. So you get entities that enter into somebody, and that particular person has to be a particular type person, though, will end up not liking you. And especially if they're in a position of power, they will maneuver another person in front of them to get to you. I've had been through this multiple times because it's the same entity, the same thing that goes inside one person goes in the next, like in the movie Fallen. And it follows you. It might have lost you, but when it finds you, you go through you start going through the stuff again. This is what I know, that this is a systematic thing, that I've been here before. This whole thing, I've been here before. And the stuff I'm going through is because the entities that know me are as old as me are doing things to me through people. And it might sound like I'm crazy, but it's true. If some people go, why am I going through this? Why am I going through this? Because you have something in you that's not part of everything else here. So you got to go, you're going through it. And then if I sit there and get sick about it, then that's my fault. If I know what it is, I got to keep moving, even though I might lose some things. Because I know what it is. It's as you get older, you start knowing what it is. Now, if it stopped, I wouldn't know what it is, but it don't stop long enough for me to forget about it. So I'm always going to know what it is. You know? And that's why when people say, well, I used to react to things real bad, but I didn't have an understanding because I wasn't noticing patterns. I wanted to always just be where I think it should be. But it is things can be what you think it should be. But if I don't traditionally do it the way everybody else does, it would seem like I'm unsuccessful on this way because I don't want to be like everybody else and how they do stuff. I'm gonna give me a business. You got to pay those taxes. You better pay those taxes. And then if you get your business, how much money are you getting hand over fist other than just breaking even? So if I had to go through all that, I don't want, that's another headache. It's still going through the system. So that's why I say I might as well work. But then when you work, you got to deal with the same entities that don't want to see you win. Even if they lose sight of you, they always come back and catch up with you. It don't be you. It don't be me. And I'm not blaming nothing. It's not a blame game. This is a reality thing. And sometimes people go crazy because they don't see it. Now I get older, I see it. You know what I mean? I see what it is. And I go, man, I'm familiar with this. I've been through this before. Man, I might as well embrace it to know that I'm different. Not better than nobody, but on a different level. It's a lot of shit that I learned through research that I forgot that people don't even know, understand until it come up. And then I go, yeah, I remember I did that. I read that because I forgot it. If you don't talk about certain things that you learn, you'll forget about it because nobody else is talking about it. So, but if it comes up, you go, oh yeah, because I used to fill my head with major stuff, psychological stuff, knowledge stuff, motivational stuff, everything. I went crazy with it. Because I didn't have to be around people. I've been myself, and I was always looking at shit, reading shit, looking at shit, reading shit, looking at shit, just doing that while I wasn't around people. That's what I was doing. So when you start doing that and you already got an old soul, it reminds you of stuff. When you forget, you become angry and do crazy things. But as you get older, you start to see patterns and you go, man, it's already, damn, silly me. Well, how could I forget the same old stuff again? So know when an old soul comes here, like for instance, I'm not a person that like to be on the cell phone. I'm not a person that likes to always be texting. I'm not the person that always use the internet to get information. I used to go to the library. You can ask my kids. I used to go to the library and get a book to get information. But if I get on the internet, people say, where you get that off the internet? Some people are so stupid. They don't know you. So I'm not like everybody else. I actually read. And some people don't know how to read. And they don't have the patience to have cognitive skills to comprehend shit. So they do have to get on the internet. But I could be patient enough and get a book and read it. That's just what it is. But I've done so much reading in those books that I just don't want to do that right now. Because now I'm using observation to confirm what I've read. So sometimes you have to observe. Be quiet and observe to confirm. That's what you have to do. And when you observe patterns, instead of getting upset and crazy, you just confirm those patterns as you move along. So like me, I can go through the motions when I'm going through something until I get the outcome I want. Because I know the pattern of how things happen. I know that now. But in the past, I used to go, man, but it's just a pattern of the same old shit. And that's what an old soul knows. And you got to stop denying that to yourself, saying, I ain't nothing. No, I ain't this. I mean, yeah, this happening to me, it keep happening. Yeah, it's happening to you, it keep happening. But it's a spiritual thing. And it's a thing that whatever's in you, something is against that. And you don't understand it, but it is. You feel what it is. So whatever the intuition is that you got, go with that because that's what it is. Especially when patterns repeat and you do nothing but try your best. Remember that.